Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now.
Okay, so UFC 303 is in shambles. No, it's not in shambles, but because of
Kinda.
all the shit that happened ahead of it and you know, people, you know, getting injured and pulling out, and now we got a fresh new co-main event out of nowhere too. Like it just materialized in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Brian Ortega taking on Diego Lopes. Ortega, been around forever, fought for the title multiple times, coming off a really big win as well. And Lopez is a guy that comes in and just like a storm, just fights whoever.
Yeah.
And he's the favorite. Lopez is the favorite against Brian Ortega.
Damn.
Which is kind of, it's a trip, right?
Well, I mean, Diego's been on a tear. He's won his last 3 fights, right? One was a submission and 2 were first round knockouts. So, and we know Ortega is amazing at jiu-jitsu, but his striking, I mean, he's had some exciting moments with striking, like with Frankie Edgar, you know, but I mean, few and far between. He is a jiu-jitsu guy. So I could see Diego coming in hot and disrupting the peace on T-City.
Yeah, it's not a good position for Brian Ortega to just jump in, because I think Lopez was ready to fight on this card.
Right.
But I don't know if T-City was ready to fight on this card.
Right.
Let's go over some of the history with T-City and see like what he's been up to. So T-City, he's been like riddled with injuries, but he's only fought the best of the best.
Yeah.
In the like if you look at it, the last name that would be like, oh, that's not that good, would be Diego Brandao in 2016.
Wow.
Ever since then, Clay Guida, Renato Moicano, Cub Swanson, Frankie Edgar,
Right.
Max Holloway, Korean Zombie, Volkanovski, Yair Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, this dude has been fighting. So if you compare resumes, like, Lopez can't even hold a candle to Brian Ortega's resume.
Yeah.
He can't.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, he's fought 2 of the greatest featherweights of all time. And then he went in there and beat Yair when a lot of people didn't expect him to do that at all.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't expect that to happen. You know what I mean? I didn't expect. But Yair, it seems like he crumbles after a while. Like, if he doesn't get what he wants.
I felt like it was more so. I saw Brian Ortega, I think it was in the second round. Like, it looked like something switched in him. And he was just so much more like dialed in. But yeah, it could have been both, right? It could have been Ortega just became more dialed in and Yair started slacking, and you know, and then he gets that submission. I mean, that was amazing.
That was an amazing fight. Because I think in the first round, Yair was doing really well, right? I think maybe he was in. I think Brian had some problems in that first round, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Oh, here we go. This is what's gonna happen."
Yeah, it was just like what was expected. Yair was kicking him, and
he had that thing with his foot, his leg. He had that drop foot. No.
drop foot.
Oh no! He jumped up. No, before the drop foot. Before the fight, when they were announcing the names, remember he jumped up?
Oh, yeah. And he like...
yeah, and everybody's like, oh, put the money on Yair, right?
Yeah.
Just imagine how many people put money on Yair at that moment.
Yeah.
And
Crazy,
then,
eh?
And then he comes back in the third round and wins by submission.
Yeah.
That is nuts. It is nuts. Brian Ortega, that's the thing about Brian Ortega that makes him special.
Yeah.
He is so unpredictable, and he has that killer instinct in him. Like, he will jump on you when necessary. Like when he came back after that Max Holloway beatdown, right? And he fought the Korean Zombie. Everybody, same situation. Everybody's like, Korean Zombie's on a tear. He's gonna rip him apart. Yeah. Guess what he did? He goes out there, does a master class in striking against the Korean Zombie. Yeah. Spinning elbows and all that, right? I think this is
that
one
was
of those
like a
moments,
new was like a new Ortega, I feel like.
Yeah, he shaved his head right before the fight. It was a weird one. It was a weird one.
I actually gained a lot of respect for Ortega over time, just like seeing how he fights and like you can really like see his heart, you know, when he's fighting. And I felt like I always end up not liking fighters if the UFC is trying to promote them, because I'm like, oh, whatever, you know, they're just trying to make money and this guy is just new and exciting and they're just trying to like inflate him, right, for their own benefit. But you can really see like he is a really incredible fighter, and he's got like the right mindset for it. For him to like get beat down by Max Holloway and then come back and be like, I'm going to strike the next guy. Like I'm going to beat him with striking, even though I failed so miserably before with striking. You know, it's really impressive to see.
He's done it multiple times too, because after the Korean Zombie fight, he took a pretty bad beating from Volkanovski.
Yeah.
And then he returned and had that shoulder injury in the first round against Yair.
Yeah.
Just imagine that. Like, you took that big beat down. Imagine what that does to your confidence. Comes back, and then in the first round, you get injured.
Yeah.
And then you come back. Just overcoming obstacles, like, he does it very well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And people talk a lot of shit about him, but, like, most fighters wouldn't been able to do what he did already a few times, man. Like
100%. And then for him to take on this fight against Diego Lopes, like it's not going to benefit him in any way. No. So it's like it shows once more that he's just like a fighter, true, you know?
Big paycheck too, probably.
Yeah.
It helps, right?
Yeah.
When they're giving you six figures to fight somebody, right?
That's true.
And if, you know, Diego Lopes, man, he's come in, made his debut on short notice against Movzar, and that's a hard first debut. Lost that by decision. Had some good moments in there, submission attempts and stuff. Yeah. But then after that, he kind of like stepped back in competition, took on some guys, and 3 first-round finishes in a row. Yeah. Which is pretty amazing, because he didn't really have that many first-round finishes before that, right? And he's lost on the regional scene too.
And who exactly, like, who are the last 3 fights? Are they is there any notable name?
Well, the last one, of course, Sodiq Youssef, who's top 15.
Right, yeah.
He swarmed him.
Yeah.
I think he wasn't ready for that and just got caught off guard. But then he, knocked out Pat Sabatini, who's also not that bad of a... Gavin Tucker, too. Yeah, These are decent names. Yeah, they're not like guys that are getting cut right now.
Yeah, pretty good guys, for sure. Another thing that I found out about Diego Lopes is he actually has more submission victories than knockout victories. Yeah. So everybody thinks that he's this, knockout artist, which, the last 2 fights he did show that. But, I think a lot of people are going to watch this fight thinking, okay, it's the jiu-jitsu guy against the striker, but that's not necessarily the case. Diego is also a very experienced jiu-jitsu practitioner as well. So
they're very similar.
I think it would be really, like, I would really like to see the fight go to the ground, because I just want to see, like, what it would be in comparison, between those two. Yeah,
what level, like, is Lopez's ground compared to Ortega? Because we've seen Ortega snatch up submissions like crazy against, like, top guys. Mm-hmm. So, this is gonna be a fun fight. I think it being short notice, it gives a little bit of an edge to Diego Lopes, but I'm taking Ortega in this one, man. I think Ortega got that momentum. I think Ortega is gonna show you, like, there's levels to this game. Yeah. Unless he gets clipped somehow, but I doubt it, man. Ortega's chin is pretty amazing. Lopes as well. He's a tough dude, but when you got someone that has been proven to be able to, like, fight the top guys, lose, come back, and beat top guys. Yeah. Like, it's hard to pick against somebody like that.
Yeah. And I think you can see, him improving in every single fight, even, like, this late in his career. So, yeah, I'm picking Ortega, too, whether it goes to the ground or it's on the feet, honestly.
I think these guys are going to go crazy at each other.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun fight.
And, yeah, they're going to be wild on each other. It's very, very, very good co-main event. Not, name recognition wise, probably not, but it's gonna be a fight where people are like, "Oh, damn, that was a great co-main event."
Yeah, I'm gonna bet on that being fight of the night.
Yeah, well, you might have one of those moments like, "Oh man, how could you top that?" Right. Like moment, you know what I mean? Because there's been those, like, co-mains, or even the fight before the co-main where it's just like, that fight was just the best. And then the next fight is even better than that one. You just thought I think this is going to be one of those scenarios.
That's true.
Taking Ortega, I think Ortega goes in there, finishes him TKO. I think it's going to be TKO. Ooh. He's going to slang on the feet. Shit. But it'll go to the ground, but I think they're going to slang on the feet. And Ortega's the underdog.
It's very slight, though, right?
But still, you make money off of it if you bet on them, right?
You think he's the underdog just because he took the fight on short notice? Like, do you think if there was more time with this fight that Ortega would have been the favorite?
It's hard to say, but it seems like the odds makers, a lot of them are making odds on hype.
Right.
And, of course, he's won 3 in a row as well.
Right.
And Ortega just won 1. And he's coming on before that he lost back-to-back. So
right.
We will see. But I take Ortega by TKO, and she agrees.
Yes, I agree.